Right, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. We'll wait just a couple minutes to allow folks to log on before I get started, but grateful for this community and grateful for those of you that are joining me today. Just settle into where you are. Just begin to land in this space as we take some time for ourselves. We'll wait another minute or so and then I'll get started. If you would like to chime in, let me know where you're joining from in the chat and that you can hear me okay. I'd appreciate that. I am in the Madison, Wisconsin area here in the U.S. I know many people join from outside of the U.S. and just grateful for the broad community here. We'll wait just another minute, 30 seconds or so. I want to honor your time too for joining me. Well, welcome. For those of you who may not know me, I am Tim Fortescue, an IFS trained practitioner, and I specialize in spiritual growth and healing. Whether you've experienced religious trauma or just seeking guidance on your spiritual journey, I'm here to support and walk alongside however I can. You can find more about me on my website, faithfullygrowing.com. And if you haven't already, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel to be aware of new content that I put out and other lives. You can join me over on Facebook if you go to Faithfully Growing with timfortescue.com, and you'll see a link into the text that accompanies this video for that. That just provides a place for us to continue the conversation and engage a little bit in between sessions like this. And then finally, also on that website, if you have the capacity to donate, I have a nonprofit aspect of my coaching practice that helps me provide high quality IFS coaching to people who may not normally have access to it. And you can do that over at faithfullygrowing.com/donate, or you can just click the donate tab on my website. But thank you all. Heidi, thanks so much for joining from Sweden. It's been great interacting with you a little bit via email. So grateful for your courage in joining me here. If IFS is new to you, you can, again, go to my website and click on the How I Work tab, and you can find a little bit more about that. Before I lead us in our meditation, I want to talk just a little bit about IFS and dissociative or numb parts. Many times when I work with clients or even work with my own parts, there are often people will tell me, oh, I just don't feel anything, or I feel shut down. And I think it's important to realize that that numbness that you feel, or the dissociation and avoidance, is likely a part, and in my experience, it's a protector, and it's generally a firefighter that's coming to shut things down. Disassociation is a coping mechanism that helps us handle overwhelming stress and trauma, and IFS is a way that we can explore these different parts of ourselves, including those parts that are dissociative or contribute to that numbness. And so I encourage you, as we go through the meditation today, to be aware of those parts that may feel numb, or that, oh, I just don't want to go there today. And just be aware that that is likely a part of you too. I've even had some folks that would say, in that protector rim, that you have the managers, those that are doing the to-do list and trying to keep us on track. Those firefighters, the ones that jump in and try to put out fires, they're more reactive. Some people will even categorize dissociative parts as a third type of protector, but I tend to still keep it with the managers and firefighters. And often those dissociative parts are trying to jump in and shut things down like a firefighter would do. They could also fit in a managerial role, and I wouldn't get too caught up in that. But just knowing that there are protectors there, that those dissociative or numb parts are parts, and it's okay to be curious about them. So try to keep that in mind as I lead us in our meditation today. And you go ahead and put if you have questions or comments, put them in the chat. If you're watching a recording of this video, go ahead and comment too, and I'll do my best to engage with you. And of course, you can always send me an email to tim@faithfullygrowing.com if that's easier. But let's just take some time for ourselves and begin the meditation. Just settle into where you are. Find a comfortable position. And close your eyes if you want, if that's uncomfortable. Just let your gaze rest softly in front of you. Just take a couple deep cleansing breaths, inhaling slowly through your nose. And exhaling through your mouth. And as you breathe, just try to let go of any tension in your body. Just begin to focus on your internal world, internal family, as we call it sometimes. What you're noticing is likely a part, those thoughts, feelings, actions, impulses. The mind is multiple, and that's okay. So let's get to know these parts of ourselves and let them know that they're not alone. They've got who we are today at the core. Take a couple breaths at your own pace and just notice what comes up. Just check in and see if there are any parts that may be prone to numbing out, creating distance, dissociating. Maybe there are parts that don't want to be here in this process. Just let them know that you see them. You just want to get to know them a little more, but there's no pressure. They can even walk away if they want to. Just see if anyone wants to do that. And just notice the parts that are still around, still wanting to engage or at least be close enough to hear this process. And let them know in this case, we're not going to single one of them out as we often do. Just see if there's any part as you look around that may want to share. Maybe it's one of those numb parts that they don't want to share much, but they're still sticking around. Let them know you see them. And just take your time, just one after the other. Give each part some time to share or to come a little closer, and also knowing that they can tap out and walk away at any time if that feels right. But just see what you notice, just be with your parts, see what else they may want to share. Just make sure everyone has a chance to have a voice that wants to. So it may some of those parts that may be sharing a little too much, if they could pause and just soften back a little bit. They can have more time to share, but for now, if we can make sure everyone has a voice. Just see if there's anything else. And then before we wrap up, just take a minute and see if there's anything you want to share with your parts that have surfaced that you haven't shared already. Is there more you want to say? Go ahead and say that. Then when it feels complete for now, just thank all your parts, maybe one by one, for as much or as little as they shared. Let them know that this doesn't have to be the last time, particularly notice those parts that may want to have more voice. Maybe they don't want this to end, maybe in a long time, since they've spent some time with you and felt seen and heard. Let them know that if they would like more time and it feels right for you, that you can make more time for them, and contract and let them know when you can get together again. Maybe even those parts that have gone to the distance, let them know if they are in earshot that you're grateful for them too. They don't have to come back. They can keep playing, or they can come a little closer. We're done with the talk that they may have wanted to avoid a little bit, and they can come back if they'd like to, but they don't have to. Then when it feels complete for now, bring your attention back to the present moment where you are. You can open your eyes if they were closed. And if you're experiencing some of this calmness, this compassion, see if your whole self can take that in just a bit. And take this in to the world where you are throughout your day or evening. But thank you so much for your courage again in joining me for this just time of pause and reflection to check in with our parts and for ourselves. Thank you. And I'll hang around for a bit if you have questions or comments. Thank you again, Heidi, for joining in from Sweden. Have a colleague that is also in your area. I do want to let folks know that whether you're watching the video or live or the recording, that I have often every other week, I try to do a coaching group to where we will meet 4 or 5 people together, and I'll guide you in this process a little deeper. There's one coming up on Thursday evening here in the US. I believe it's 8:00 Eastern time, and there are a couple spots available. And so would love for you to join if you can. And if you're watching a recording, check my website, faithfullygrowing.com/groups, and you can see the schedule for those. But I'm going to leave it at that for now. Try to do this each week at the same time. I'm grateful for this community. And so join me next time if you can, and reach out, either email me, tim@faithfullygrowing.com, or comment on this video if you have questions. But grateful for you joining me today, and take good care and keep being curious about those parts.